Alright, what's going on guys, and welcome back to the Bit of Footy YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be running through my round 10 tips for you guys. Last weekend, I got back to the 6 out of 9 tips that I, normally get, and I'm on 50 points, so I've got to the half century. Finally, it's taken a bit. In my own competition, the leader is on 58 points, and that is K Delaney 12. He got 8 out of 9 last week, so fair play to K Delaney 12. Geordie Pluto only got 7, so he drops a point behind the leader. Still very close at the top. D-back attack is also on, well, it was also close to the leader on 57 points. But yeah, I'm down on 50 points. I keep saying this every week, but I need some magic to go my way. It's not happened at the moment, and I don't think it will anytime soon the way I've been going. But yeah, K Delaney 12 just keeps moving at the top of the ladder. 8 points out of 9 last weekend, so very, very well done to him. But yeah, hopefully this weekend I can get a few results my way, but there's a few, 50-50 games that I can see upsets happening, so I don't know how it's going to end up, but I've just went with my heart. That's probably not a great thing to do, but yeah, let's just see how we go. Alright, kicking off on Friday night, we have the Blues taking on the Swans at Marvel Stadium. Swans play a very good brand of footy at Marvel Stadium, but the Blues, I didn't back them last weekend, and I really should have, because they played a really good game of footy. I thought their cohesiveness was very well in that game against the Giants, but they're coming up against the Swans side, who have been very impressive this season as well. Both sides have been very impressive, so it's going to be a very good and entertaining Friday night game. Well, I hope so. But yeah, I've actually backed the Blues. I've backed the Blues in this one. I rarely back the Blues, and I think people are going to start to notice if I don't. So I've went the Blues in this one, but I do genuinely believe that they can get the job done. They really, really played a good brand of footy against the Giants last weekend. And, even when the Blues are down, they normally have a, relatively good game against the Swans, either in Melbourne or in Sydney. And they're playing some great footy at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to back the Blues to get the job done at Marvel Stadium. Next, we go to GMHBA on Saturday for the Cats taking on the Power. As good as the Power have been in the last few weeks, this is a massive, massive test. Cats, geez, what do we say about them? They really dropped the ball, and I think, what was it, the third quarter, they dropped the ball against the Saints. And far out, was it the second quarter? I think it was the second quarter. It was either the second or third quarter where they dropped the ball against the Saints. I think there was like 7 goals to 2 in one of the quarters, and they ended up losing by 10 points after a great start. The Power, on the other hand, they just keep moving nicely. They keep moving very nicely. They went down to Tassie, beat the Roos. And yeah, they looked very well structured in that game. So it's going to be an interesting game, but I think home ground advantage for the Cats will get we'll get them over the line in this one. They play very good at home. It's a much narrower ground, so for a side like Port Adelaide who, play well on, more fatter grounds, more bigger grounds, for the play style that they have, I think it's going to be tough for them. They rarely win down in Geelong as well, so it's going to be tough for them in that matter. But yeah, I'm going to go the Cats to win that game. Bulldogs versus the Suns at Mars Stadium. Jeez, now if it was at Marvel, I think I would have been tipping the Dogs by a few points, but it's at Mars Stadium, and you just never know what can happen down in Ballarat. You just never know at all. Dogs, they were back to their brilliant best last weekend against the Pies. They had some good outside balls, some good contested possession. Bailey Smith, he was on another level, collecting 40 touches or whatever. Then Adam Treloar just dominating his old side, 30 touches, 3 goals. I mean, what a night out that was for him. The Suns, though, they're moving along nicely. 2 wins on the trot here. I don't know if they're going to make it 3 though. I think the Dogs, they just got back to their best last week, and they want to, continue on that form, and I think they will. But I've said it the last 2 weeks, the Suns, I haven't backed the Suns. I don't think I'm going to back them this week either, but if they get the job done, Gold Coast this week, come back and I will back the Suns next week, no matter who they're playing. I'm making a promise on that. That's my heart on That's my hand on heart promise. Marvel Stadium is next up, where the Roos play Melbourne, or Nam as their Indigenous name goes by. By the way, yes, obviously it is Sir Doug Nicholls round, the Indigenous rounds from across rounds 10 to 11. I've got one of the Pies, probably one of the Pies' best Indigenous jumpers out of the few years. I forgot when they released this one. I think it was like 2020, I believe this one was released in. But yeah, I really like this one. I think it's one of our best ones because we actually did something with the stripe for once, which we rarely do. But yeah, eventually Melbourne or Nam are going to be defeated. Don't think it's going to be in this game. North Melbourne, they were okay. There was a few glimpses in that game against Port Adelaide where I thought they were alright, but just a few clumsy turnovers and all that, which is going to happen in a side like North Melbourne. But yeah, Melbourne, they're rolling along nicely. They didn't really go to like their, full pedal on the metal sort of stuff against the Eagles. They weren't in... They were sort of in like first gear. They didn't really change the gear, but they still managed to smash the Eagles, which is how good of a side they are. So realistically, it was sort of a relaxing win where they didn't have to do too much, and they saved themselves for this weekend, which realistically they could have another relaxing win on their hands. Just save themselves up for a big game, which they have a few big games coming up after this one. So yeah, it's good to get these sort of, I wouldn't say easy games, but these sort of games that you should win out the way, and then have those big games next up. So yeah, I think Melbourne are going to win this one. Adelaide versus St Kilda at the Adelaide Oval. Saints performing really well at the moment. Crows, they've been challenging a few times, just can't manage to get wins on the board at the moment. But yeah, I'm going to tip the Saints in this one to get the job done. They've looked really well this season, and they're in contention for the top 4 at the moment. Obviously the top 8, they're massively in contention for that, but yeah, they're really pushing it up the ladder. So yeah, liking how the Saints are going, and I think they should get the job done over the Crows here. Then it's dream time at the MCG this year. Back at the G, should be a massive crowd for this one. It's the Tigers and the Bombers, of course. Obviously the Tigers, they're in some great form at the moment. 3 wins on the trot. Got challenged by the Hawks last weekend. I think the Hawks got within a 25-point lead, and the Tigers just ate that up and managed to get the job done. I wouldn't say quite convincingly. The Hawks had that bit of a mojo about them in that last quarter. But yeah, they got the job done over the Hawks. They've won 3 in a row. Bombers, there's just such a 50-50 team. Obviously, they had that surprising win over Hawthorn, and then they got done way too easily by the Swans. So I don't know what to say about them. It's going to take one of those miracles again, like they did over Hawthorn, to beat the Tigers this weekend, the way that the Tigers are going. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Tigers will get the win. Moving on to the Sunday games, we start off with the Giants taking on the Eagles. Giants should get this one done. It is a bit of a danger game though. If the Giants can't win this one, questions will be raised. So they really need to hope that they get the job done. But this could be like, a West Coast versus Collingwood all over again, where West Coast, really come out firing. They put some pressure on the Giants, and with pressure, turnovers could come into the game from the Giants, and the Eagles could start to dominate. It could be one of those games, but I don't think it will be. I think the Giants will be too good. They really, really just need to sort themselves out, and I feel like this is a game where they can do just that. So I'm going to tip the Giants over the Eagles. Going to Tassie, where the Hawks are taking on the Lions at the University of Tassie Stadium. Funny enough, the Hawks have a good record over the Lions down in Tassie, but I don't think they'll get the job done in this one. I think the Lions have just been playing really, really well. They've been playing too good to lose this game. But I say this about multiple teams and then they get done. So maybe I should just stop talking at the moment and just say the Lions should get the job done in this one. Been thoroughly impressive throughout the last few weeks. In their matches. Hawthorn, they've been competitive, no doubt about it. They've been really competitive in matches. Haven't been able to find results as of late. But this one can go either way. It's in Tassie, and we know Tassie has some weird results come from it. But realistically, the Lions should get the job done in that one. And then the last game of the weekend at Optus Stadium in Perth. And I'm going to this one. I'm really excited. My first venture out to Optus Stadium. First venture out to WA just as a whole, so I'm really pumped for this one. See my Pies take on the Dockers. My Pies probably have one of their best sides of the season coming in this week. Penderbury, Ginnivan, Elliot all should be returning this weekend. I don't know if Crisp is going to make the trip or a Sidebottom is. I think we just need to drop Sidebottom no matter what and just give him a rest. He hasn't been playing to his best for the past few weeks. But yeah, if Cripps doesn't get up, I'll be super duper worried because he's one of our, better players in the midfield. So we do really need him. Besides that, though, the Dockers, they're going to be looking to, really get up and about in this game. But yeah, I think the Dockers should get the job done at home, come back, get a good win on the board, make sure, things are back on the right direction for them. So yeah, I think the Dockers over the Pies. And that's my tips done and dusted for this round. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in another video soon. Cheers.